It must be January because everyone's talking about the Lakers need to make a trade with somebody. Everybody getting traded to the Lakers. Everybody. It don't matter who it is. Kevin Durant going to the. It's maddening. They do it every year.
Greetings and salutations and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and with us today on this Wind Up Wednesday edition, we are loaded and stacked, starting off with my favorite athletic administrator, AD himself, George Ockert. George, what's going on, man?
Now, you must be talking about somebody else, but okay. All right, but I'm good.
All right. And our favorite overall administrator here, I still need him on a regular basis, but that's a personal matter. Robert Abney. Robert, how are you, sir?
Good morning. Living the dream, man. Living the dream.
And Captain for Life, Will Cotton. Will, what's going on, man?
I'm ready for summer. This winter stuff I'm done with. Done with it.
All right, folks. So on today's Wind Up Wednesday edition, segment 1, all things NBA. Segment 2, men's college basketball. And in segment 3, we'll talk about the women's game, getting everybody ready for March when it is warmer, Will. But first, NBA top 10. Boston, Minnesota, OKC, the Bucks, 76ers are 5, Denver 6, and I might even get a chance to check them out as they play our local Wizards. 7 are the Clippers, 8 Cavs, 9 Knicks, and in the 10th spot, we've got the Miami Heat. 65 game club analysis. Gentlemen, we'll start with the East. If the playoffs started today, Boston, the Bucks, 76ers, Cavs, and Knicks, as well as the Heat will be in the top 6. And then the play-in teams, and we always know that 2 won't make it, Pacers, Magic, Bulls, Hawks, Nets, and Raptors. And then the last 3 are just bad, Hornets, Wizards, and Pistons. George, what are your thoughts on the East this week, sir?
East is holding serve. Also, although I am waiting to see what the trade that Indiana did, pulling off with getting Siakam. I wanted to see if that moves the needle somewhat. Indiana's been playing well, so I want to see what the effect that has. But as of right now, really, I mean, the Bucks are starting to trying to find their legs with their additions for this year, but I still don't know if anybody can mess with Boston in a 7-game series. So,
all right, Robert, what are your thoughts on the East this week?
We know that the Bucks are not going to shake up their roster because they made it public to everyone that they will not be trading Thanasis Antetokounmpo. So the Bucks are standing pat.
It's nice to have a brother with some influence. My brother has no influence. All right, Will.
Just being a Lamar hater. That's all he is.
It's a Tuesday show thing. Will,
go.
what are you thinking about the East, sir?
I like the East, man. I think things are shuffling. I think the Pacers, are making that move. I think the Hawks are going south. They're looking to trade assets. They're looking about trade Murray. They're talking about trading Trae Young. So anybody trading the big people that you brought in, and they already traded the power forward that they had. I forgot his name, but they sent him to Utah. John Collins. They're pretty much saying that they're reset. They're ready to try again with something else. So I think the Hawks are going to fall. Then the Raptors, they just trade Siakam, their best asset. They're getting ready to fall. And I think the Bulls are going to be interesting because the Nets, I think, don't know because what's his name? Spencer Dinwiddie. They think he's not even playing. They think he's half playing.
Yeah, so, I heard he was like protesting or something like that.
Yeah, and you protest by not playing hard, but that's how you get people hurt, which I don't agree with that. But I think the cream is going to rise to the top. And I think it's going to be the Pacers, the Magics, that are going to end up coming out that play in, and the rest are just kind of just making money and being around it. But that looks good, though. It looks good.
All right. So in the West, top 6, if the season ended today, Minnesota, who's not going away, folks. OKC, Denver, Clips, Pelicans, wrong year on the Zion bet, and the Mavericks are the top six. And then fighting for the play-in will be the Kings, the Suns, the Jazz, the Lakers, the Rockets, and Golden State. It's time to end this thing. Memphis, Portland, and the Spurs carry up the rear. George, in the West, what has caught your eye, sir?
That it's taken Phoenix this long to get it together, but these boys are like a mash unit because every time I turn around, somebody's hurt and they're all out. I think they probably have a total of maybe 3 games or 5 games where all 3 have played together. So, you're still waiting for that to go. I told y'all I love New Orleans anyway, so I'm glad to see that Zion's not eating a whole lot of donuts and staying away from
baby, etouffee,
and staying away from hookers. No, that's beignets, and staying away from internet girls. So for right now, but the real one, I put this out to all of y'all. I knew Ant was good, but I didn't know if Ant was going to be this good. I mean, he is. He's doing things that we ain't seen in a while. So he's becoming a superstar real quick. And in Minnesota, where the hell you get a superstar in Minnesota? So that's mine right now, man.
All right. Robert, what are you thinking about the West, sir, as you're in the heart of Texas?
Well, I mean, the thing that keeps catching my eye is that, the Lakers and Golden State still trying to hang around, and it ain't, I know there are people who keep saying, oh, they're going to turn it on, they're fine, they're going to turn it on, they're fine. Well, you're starting to get to that point where you ain't got enough time to turn it on. It's time. And I'm not convinced that either one of them has enough to turn on. I think, you got old legs, you got old heads, and I don't see it happening for either of them.
No. So, Will, what are you thinking about the West, sir?
It must be January because everyone's talking about the Lakers need to make a trade with somebody. Everybody getting traded to the Lakers. Everybody. It don't matter who it is. Kevin Durant going to the. It's maddening. They do it every year. It just means that the Lakers are in trouble. Because whenever the Lakers are in trouble, they start talking about trade. But everything else looks the way it is. Memphis is who they are. Portland, unfortunately, who they are. Spurs, I thought they were going to be a little better. I'm not going to lie. I thought they were going to be a little bit better to kind of tickle the kind of play in, but I just don't think they're that good. But they're talking about getting a trade, which that could definitely help for sure. I don't think the Lakers are going to. I think the Lakers are going to make it. I don't think the Warriors are not going to make it. And I think at the end of the day, it's hard to say the Rockets are probably not going to make it.
All right.
But I think everything else looks good.
So let's make sure you know what the dates are, fans. The NBA trade deadline is February 8th, and the NBA All-Star Game is February 18th. We've got a firm idea who the front runners are. The panel in the East, Boston, Milwaukee, and Philadelphia, and that leaves 7 teams to make up the rest of it. And in the West, Minnesota, OKC, Denver, and the Clippers are locks right now, and I don't see that changing. So to close out segment 1, fellas, who should make a move and what move should they make and who should let it play out? Take it in any way you want, starting with you, George. Any thoughts on who should make a move or just play it out?
Did Will just say he thinks the Lakers are gonna make it? I can't see it. They had to figure that one out. Like I said, I think they're going to have to, as we get down to February 8th, I don't see it's going to have to be some blockbuster move, and I don't see a blockbuster move sitting out there right now. And I'll wait to see. They usually shock me though, so I'll see if one's there. But as of right now, I'm waiting that there's no real blockbuster moves except for the demise of the Atlanta Hawks, and they're gonna that's gonna become a cherry picking spot. And I'm waiting for everybody get together, and I'm waiting for the Sacramento Kings to have a say in it. So those are the only things I'm waiting to see, because it'll probably be the Hawks selling off everybody, and we'll see what happens with Sacramento.
All right, Robert, is there anybody you think should make a move, or man, just let it go? What do you think, Robert?
Man, if I'm the Warriors, it's open season. Everybody except Steph. Let's go. Turn it over. It's time to turn it over.
All right. And finally, Will, what do you think, man? Anybody should make a move, or just let it go?
I think Boston needs to start picking up centers and power forwards and start getting ready for the postseason. That's where they're going to struggle, because Porzingis is not a center. He's going to be floating around, and that's where you win in the playoffs, is the trenches. And again, I apologize to all our viewers. I haven't watched a lot of Minnesota, but it says they could use a nice vet going right into the playoff. They can get a guy to get them ready to go. We're not asking just to play, but we need to have the mentality going into, because their team is so young. I want to make sure they're prepared as they can be from a player perspective. And I think they could really use that. So hopefully they could grab it could be somebody, a journeyman, or maybe they fall into Draymond or something, but they need somebody with some credentials,
seasoning
in the playoff. Okay. I like that seasoning. Yeah.
All right. Well, for me, hey, local team, Washington Wizards to us, sell everybody, man. Keep the point guard and really just go be bad, man. Make it an effort to be as awful as possible so we could get some players here. But as we rotate to segment 2, everything in college basketball, men's game first, and segment 3, women's game. We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches Podcast.
Why should student athletes use the CKA SAVE Project academic and athletic consulting services? Over the past 15 to 20 years, colleges, universities, professional sports teams, business organizations, and others have increased their use of consulting services to improve their decision-making processes and results. Over the same time, the athletic and academic landscape has changed for high school and college student athletes, as the NCAA has raised initial academic eligibility requirements for student athletes while decreasing the number of transfer restrictions. Former college student athletes have noted that they were academic and athletically unprepared for the rigors of college. Let the CKA SAVE Project's close to 30 years of academic and athletic experience help guide student athletes to increase success as we work to help student athletes achieve the goal of obtaining a college degree. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast in segment 2, men's college basketball, and let the parody continue. Here are your current net rankings. As of this show's taping, Houston's 1, Purdue's 2, Arizona's 3, BYU's 4, Alabama's 5, Tennessee 6, UConn with a close one against Villanova is 7, Auburn, who is streaking, is 8, 9 is North Carolina, so the ACC finally has a top 10 net team, and 10 is Iowa State. So men's game analysis. Fellas, here are the teams currently on the longest winning streaks in the country, and that's double digits, and it's only 4 teams right now. Samford, Dayton, Auburn, and McNeese, and it's not even McNeese State anymore. It's just McNeese. So, George, this week, what's on your mind in the men's game?
First off, let me start it off by giving a shout out to the High Point Panthers down there in High Point, North Carolina, who are undefeated right now, leading the Big South Conference. We might actually get to go to the dance this year. It's the same. UConn's tough. You see that they ended up taking the top spot, I think, at the end of this week. Going in this week, and then you got the regulars. I mean, Purdue's still hanging around, Houston's still hanging around, but then you got the regulars. You got the Carolinas, the Kentuckys, Tennessee, Duke, all in there looking impressive, and they're starting to looking like they're hitting their stride. Like Kentucky just got everybody back. That one kid just got NCAA just said it was okay, and he came out and had like 20 points or something in the first game. Duke got their point guard back. So they're running wild here in the ACC. I think they just blasted Pitt last night.
No, they lost the Pitt.
Did they lose the Pitt last night?
They lost the Pitt.
Okay. Well, wow, that's new. But the Pitt's point guard is tough. So I mean, the regulars are there. So it's shaping up to be. It really, we don't have a dominant team. No. We don't have a dominant team, and so it should be a good one. But I will say this. I probably doubted him. I don't know if I doubt him, but I didn't know it was this deep. But damn, Danny Hurley can coach. UConn is good. Danny Hurley can coach. So that's my 2 cents for this week.
All right, Robert, you got like 5 conferences in your state, so you get to see a cross reference of basketball. What are your thoughts this week?
Well, I mean, looking at the net rankings, you're talking about you got 3 Big 12 teams in there. Houston lost last week.
Yeah.
And BYU lost last night to TCU. I mean, not TCU, Texas Tech. I mean, the Big 12 is just every night is a battle. And I actually am going to see TCU and Oklahoma State on Tuesday night. So, and that'll be, it'll after the we're taping, anyway. I'm seeing TCU at Oklahoma State this week. And then the other conference that I pay a lot of attention to is the Mountain West, and right now they're beating each other up too. You had Colorado State was ranked. You had Utah State ranked. Utah State went to the pit at New Mexico and lost this past week. It's San Diego State went to the pit last Saturday and got beat. It's they're going to beat each other up too. A lot of good basketball, man.
Yeah. Well, what has caught your eye this week in the men's game?
Oh man, you know me, I'm a Big East guy. And my St. John's took 2 L's, really bad ones to see.
Yeah, I was kind of mad at that L on Saturday, but that's strictly for entertainment purposes only.
It was rough, and my father was sending me the text like, "Did you watch the game? Did you see it?" So, but yeah, everybody else is great. I like that the top 10 is really anybody. I mean, nobody's really a solidified point. Like Purdue, you might be 2, but you can lose anytime, and we know they like to lose when they want to. But yeah, I think it's good for the sport. I think it's good for people just trying to get into the sport and watch it. But yeah, I mean, right now the parity is great. I'm enjoying it, and you never know who's going to win. So I'm enjoying the college basketball side.
All right. So our big story of the week is pretty much the conference report cards, and Robert did a great job of setting the table for us. The Big 12. They have 8 teams in the AP top 25, and every game has an impact on the net ranking. So on Selection Sunday, we're going to see a lot of Big 12, and a lot of people are going to be very mad. And we're trying to tell you now, if you're into the pool thing, watch Big 12 basketball. The SEC has 4 teams in the top 25. Unfortunately, there's some bad. The American Conference is underperforming. Memphis, FAU, they're underperforming. The ACC, only Duke and UNC are in the top 25 right now. So your wins aren't strong. And then Duke goes out and loses the pit. That's not going to help them. The Big East has 3 teams in the top 25. The Big 10 has 3 teams in the top 25. And the Pac-12 only has 1. And fans, I'm telling you to watch these potential bid stealers. If Dayton doesn't win the A-10 tournament, they're going to be in the tournament, and they're going to steal somebody's bid. In the Mountain West, as Robert said, Utah State, you better hope they win that conference tournament because they're going to steal somebody's bid. And in the WAC, as an alum of GCU, go Lopes, man, go Lopes. So as we close, panel, starting with Robert, give me one team that you're going to pay attention to on your level. Robert, starting with you.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, I'm going to see TCU this week, so I'm going to stick with that. TCU, I'm watching them. They are long and athletic, and they guard people. The question is, can they score?
Yes. Will, give me a team to watch, sir. That
Bro, I'm
you're
looking at
watching.
I'm looking at the net, and the West Coast teams I ain't gonna watch. I ain't gonna be up watching them. They good, but I ain't gonna be able to catch them. So I'm gonna have to stick with the East Coast. And a Big East guy, I'm gonna focus on UConn. I'm gonna see if they can run it again. I'm gonna see if they can, try and go back. It'll be tough, but yeah, I'm gonna check them out. And obviously, Blue Bloods like UNC, and why not Iowa State? I mean, that's a good team to just check it out. Why not? So
Okay.
I got a couple three that I'm gonna look at.
Agiak, is there anybody you're looking at, sir, before we close the segment?
Besides the regular ACC over here, and of course, I'll be watching the Big South because the High Point down there.
Keep your fingers crossed with them.
Yep. I'm going to tell you right now, I'll be paying attention to the American Conference because they are beating the hell out of each other right now. And with Charlotte leading, that tournament's going to be fun because you got Charlotte, you got Memphis, you got FAU, SMU, and UAB all in there. And I know, South Florida could make a run. So it's going to be interesting. Wichita State's 0-4. Now, that's like the first time in my life I've ever seen Wichita State that bad. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, and selfishly for me, we're watching SMU and we're watching Syracuse because CKA family members are on those staffs. So with that being said, in segment 3, we're going to switch to the women's game. We'll be right back on the iCoaches podcast.
The reviews are in for Dr. Keith Adams' book, Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. College professor and student athlete academic expert Dr. Lisa Rubin said, "There is nothing out there like this book, so I do hope people will pay attention and give it a read." Former George Mason standout Folarin Campbell said, "Consider this book an opportunity to work directly with Dr. Adams just like I did. I assure you that there will be something you can take away that will be useful to you throughout your personal journey." Ryan Waite, a recent college graduate who is a software engineer, said, "I like how the book is based on research, which makes it good for general students as well as student athletes." The book serves as both a memoir to Dr. Adams' 30-year academic and athletic career, as well as an instructional guide to assist student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators navigate through the challenges of finding a better balance between academic and athletic success. The book includes over 15 personal stories and anecdotes from Dr. Adams, along with numerous former players and colleagues from a variety of sports and endeavors. You can order your copy at www.ckasaveproject.org. From the main page, simply click CKA Save Project Services and order the Find the Balance book. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches podcast in segment 3, the women's net rankings. And as we say every week, sticks to the chalk. South Carolina's 1, Stanford's 2. Congratulations to Tar Vanderveer for being the winningest coach in basketball. We'll talk about that briefly. Texas is 3, UConn's 4, UCLA is 5, Iowa 6, Utah 7, Kansas State is 8. Notre Dame is 9 and Baylor is 10 in the net rankings. We've got a number of teams on extended winning streaks, though. We've got the University of Albany Lady Great Danes on 11th game streak. Kansas State's on a double-digit streak. UConn, Iowa's 15 in a row as this taping. Stony Brook, Fairfield, South Carolina is 16 games in a row as this taping. And Gonzaga. What are you thinking about in the women's game right now? Any team catch your eye?
The one that caught my eye is Colorado. Where the hell did they come from? I didn't even know. I wasn't even thinking about them, but they're wearing people out right now, and they're going to be tough coming down the stretch. So that's mine, Colorado.
All right, Will, has anybody caught your eyes, sir?
I gotta go into this deep dive, man, because I've been seeing that the USC women team, they're ranked 6, but they're not anywhere in the net rankings. So I gotta deep dive and see who are they playing. Yeah, I gotta really look deep dive. Who are they playing? Because they only have 2 losses. I think one came recent, and they must have caught another one recently. But yeah, I don't know why they're in the top 10. But I got to deep dive. But that's still my team. I'm gonna stick with Juju Watkins. I rock with her. She's cool. She's nice. And it's good to see back. Like, I'm from the era where UConn had the women's team and the men's team both ranked. So this takes me back to high school, man. So I'm liking it back. I like it. And so, yeah, but nothing else to change other than YUSC in my top 10. That's my team this year.
All right. Robert, anybody catch your eye this week in the women's game?
So here's a story, and I think you've already heard about it. You saw TCU, right? They forfeited a couple of Big 12 games because they only had 6 scholarship players.
That is correct.
I don't understand that. And the reason I don't understand that, the biggest reason I don't understand it is the women get 15 full scholarships for basketball. And you don't have 8 players that you can dress and play a conference game with. I don't understand that. And I know the coach there is new. He just came. He was an assistant at Oregon for a while. He was the head coach at Sacramento State. My niece played for him there at Sacramento State. He's a good dude. He's a really good coach. And he came to TCU this year. His starting 5 is really good. I know he has no depth, but I don't understand that. I wonder if there's something going on there. I don't know. That's
Robert, I'm going to give you some information, and let's see if we can add to that, because you're right on. There are 14 players on the Horned Frogs roster, but only 6 of them would have been able to play in the 2 games they forfeited. There would have been 5 starters and 1 substitutes, but 2 of those players recently just came back from injury. So the decision was made not to put their health at risk with extended minutes from those players coming back. So those 2 games will go down as forfeits. Last year, the Horned Frogs finished with an 8-23 record, including a 1-17 record in the Big 12. Longtime head coach Reagan Pebley, if I pronounced that correctly, stepped down, and Mark Campbell, the gentleman you brought up, took over as head coach, and they were off to a 14-0 start this season. So he did do a great job. But fellas, they held open tryouts last week for walk-ons. And that's not good for a Power 5 conference to have that. So let me give some roster construction information for our fans. If you're an AAU coach, it's recommended from Coach Adams that you have 12 players so people can play. In high school, Will knows I like to keep 14 7-on-7 practice squads. And in college, believe it or not, I like to keep 16 8-on-8 because of what we're talking about. And the NBA has 12. 5 to play, 8 to win, 9 if you got foul trouble. George, when you heard about that story, what was your thoughts on you don't have enough to play as a Power 5 school?
I really thought the team got hit by the COVID bug or the flu bug. I really did. And as you started giving more information, and I heard there were women. There was a number of women injured. I was like, gee, that's got to be the ultimate piece of bad luck, because to me it had to be a mutiny on the team, or you don't expect to have that many kids injured at one time. So yeah, I thought it was the flu or COVID or something at that point in time.
Yeah. Will, what are your thoughts on the TCU situation before we close?
I mean, there's got to be something else going on. There's got to be something else going on that we're knowing maybe could be internally. But no one knows, because I know as a guy on the bench, if I had an opportunity to play, shoot, ain't nothing gonna stop me, man. Ankle what? I'm on there. Stomach bag, man. Look, I'll be on there. So it's very strange that you're missing. Like, it's unfathomable to understand. I can't comprehend that. Even if you could just go, man. Even if you went into the campus and just say, hey, any women who have played basketball.
Yes, it said high school basketball on the flyer. You had to have high school basketball experience.
That's it. Get creative with it. That would be fun, because remember they were looking for that the kicker in Florida, and they found that kid from the stands. I mean, those things get, those are great stories. And if they could just find like a kid who just said, hey, you want to play? You played a couple of years in high school. Let's come on. Hey, look, and it's funny because then you're going to start. They're going to start at a D1 start. Like, you're going to start. Let's go. It's comically sad. It's like a cloud. It's like a clown's crying. It's embarrassing.
All right. So as we close, fans, we are about to make the second loop. And how do I know that? Looking at Ak on the screen, Duke's about to play North Carolina in like 2 weeks. And that's like the national signal that we're about to start the second loop in terms of conference play. So keep your eyes out, fans. This is when you start getting your teams ready for March Madness. So on behalf of our cavalcade of stars, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches podcast. And we'll see you on the sidelines. Till next time, take care.
The Odd Coaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org. We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach Franchize. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches podcast.